We're in mid-October, so the seasonal transition is underway. The Gulf of Mexico remains warm, supplying moisture, but mid-latitude systems are beginning to encroach more frequently. Synoptically, a ridge is building over the eastern US, while a broad trough resides over the central US. A backdoor, or cool front, is nudging southwestward through the southeast, interacting with the ridge and modulating moisture flux and boundary forcing. This pattern establishes a relatively stable, warm, and dry regime over Georgia and parts of the Carolinas today, with more moisture marginal and sometimes transient shower chances in Florida, where subtropical moisture still resists total suppression. In short, Florida remains in the marginal, diurnally driven regime, while Georgia sits under the control of the expanding ridge. Florida, south and central, large-scale and mid-upper levels. Over South Florida, middle to upper levels host a trough that is gradually pulling away to the northeast, but its influence remains. A low-pressure area offshore over the Atlantic lingers, keeping a cyclonic component in flow. That, plus the building ridge to the northwest, squeezes a mild north to northeasterly gradient across the peninsula. Aloft, dry air is poised to advect in behind the trough, suppressing deep convection, moisture and boundary structure. At low levels, there is a pronounced moisture gradient. Over western interior zones, e.g. west of Lake Okeechobee, precipitable water, per-watt values, may be dropping below 1 inch, indicating relatively dry conditions. But on the south or east side, east of Alligator Alley, remnants of moisture tied to the old frontal or maritime inflow push p-watts into the 1.4 to 1.6 inch range. This sharp gradient frames where isolated showers may still pop. There's also a residual frontal boundary parked over the Straits region. That front acts as a latch for lingering moisture and can locally enhance lift when boundaries like sea breezes collide with it. Aviation and marine impacts. Aviation. VFR conditions dominate. Light and variable winds in the early hours will veer northeasterly after mid-morning, with gusts possible at times. Any shower or convective cell that develops may briefly lower ceilings or visibility and inject gusty, erratic low-level flow near the cell. Marine and coastal. North to northeast winds will strengthen today, especially over Atlantic waters. Seas will hover in the 3 to 5 foot range offshore. Onshore flow and a lingering northeast swell raise the rip current risk along the east coast beaches. Also, minor coastal flooding may persist during high tides owing to the onshore wind component, especially aligned with king tide cycles. Mechanisms at work, distilled. Ridge versus trough interplay. The ridge over the eastern US is strengthening, pushing eastern flow and suppressing convection over Georgia. In Florida, the remnant troughing and offshore low still modulate boundary positioning and moisture. Moisture advection and gradients. A strong moisture gradient across Florida dictates where clouds and showers may exist, and the drying aloft caps deeper convective growth. Boundary forcing and sea breeze collisions. The only spark available for convection in Florida is boundary interactions, sea breeze fronts, residual frontal zones. Without strong large-scale forcing, any storms today will be isolated and low in vertical extent. Subsidence and stabilization. Ridge subsidence over Georgia, and the southeast suppresses vertical motion. Stable stratification keeps deep convection in check. For pilots and forecasters, in Florida, keep an eye on localized showers near the southern and eastern fringes, typically shallow, brief, and poorly organized, but capable of gusty winds or cloud fluctuations if you fly through them. Over Georgia, anticipate a clean flight environment, clear skies, light winds, thermal mixing, and no precipitation interruptions. Watch coastal zones in Florida for marine hazards, elevated seas, rip currents, and potential minor coastal flooding aligned with tides. In sum, today is governed by a transitional regime. The southeast ridge is expanding, squeezing out major convective activity over Georgia. In Florida, moisture lingers in patches, and only mesoscale boundary forcing offers a chance for light showers. Most of the region enjoys warm, dry, and stable conditions. A calm day to execute flights with confidence while retaining awareness of pockets of shallow shower activity, especially in the southern peninsula.